Hey, good morning, and hope you're having a good morning so far, or good afternoon, or good evening. Let's learn how to use Incredible Roots. So you should be looking at this document here, and this document is on anyone can access this document as far as the sharing is concerned. So if you have a problem, just send me a request to Jeremy at Pushleads. And the goal here is to learn how to create SEO silos with Incredible Roots. So in this training, you're going to learn how to leverage our SEO agent Incredible Roots to create multiple landing pages. And so this system allows you to create pillar pages and cluster pages. What the technical term is SEO silos, right? And a silo is essentially composed of a pillar page and a cluster page. A pillar page is about 3,000 words long, and a cluster page is about 1,000 words long. And essentially, what these silos are is an organization, a website organization structure where everything is grouped in sort of categories. So what we're looking at here is a diagram of a pillar page and a cluster page, an SEO silo with essentially 5 pillars. Each pillar has 4 clusters below them. So I'm going to show you how to set up Incredible Roots for one of my new clients, a mortgage broker. And so what they care about is showing up for certain keywords, right? So we're going to make some pillars for some keywords. And so you can do that for that way, or you can also do pillars for topics. And so we're going to do mortgage broker sort of, keywords here. So now, why are we creating silos? Well, studies have shown that silos create a 40% increase in SEO visibility and a 30% increase in 2 months, and then a 30% increase in traffic in 6 months. And also, an unexpected side effect is that it also helps your clients show up for ChatGPT. So I've been testing this with one of my clients and really found that people are finding them using ChatGPT. So let's go ahead and also talk about real quickly what happens in the background whenever you create an SEO silo. Essentially, we have an audit happening. We have a brand audit happening. We have a whole process where it comes up with the SEO silo suggestions, and then it writes all the content. So let's take a look at the dashboard and look at how to use this. So you should already have the login. Just message me if you don't have the login. What we're going to do here is we're going to just show you the dashboard and show you how to use it. So if you're first logging in for the first time, you're going to have no projects in here. So you're going to create a new project. And that's the only thing on this first page is creating projects. So I'm just creating the mortgage shop, submit. And so I have a new project in here, and then I can go into the actual project name, and we're going to just go to the project and click on view. And then the first time you log into this, we need to create a connection to WordPress. So at this point, we only support connecting to WordPress. In the future, we will support connecting to Webflow and Shopify and other platforms, but we natively support WordPress. So we're going to click on new connection, and the type is going to be WordPress. And what we're going to do here is put the URL in here. It's super critical that we have a slash at the end of the URL. If we don't have a slash at the end, it will not work. Okay. So, and we will have a validator that, assumes that it makes sure this works in the future, but make sure there's a slash at the end. And then what you're going to do here is in the WordPress, you're going to get the user email and the application password. So this is not the user password. Okay. So let's go into the inside of the website and I'll show you what I'm talking about. From WordPress, once you're logged in, you're going to go to Edit Profile in the upper right-hand corner, Edit Profile, and this will give us the information we're looking for. We're going to scroll down to the email here, right? That's the email here, and that's going to go here for the WordPress user email, okay? Now, the application password, again, is not the user password. And we need to create an API key, super easy to create, and that's going to be our application password. Okay, so we're going to go down here and scroll down to the bottom, and where it says application passwords, new application password name. And so basically what we're going to do here is type in our incredible roots, and it doesn't actually matter what we put in here, but we're going to hit add application password. And at that point, we have an API key. Now, if for some reason this application passwords is disabled, when you click on edit profile and then you scroll down, if it's disabled, you're probably using WordFence or something else that's blocking it. So what you want to do here is enable application passwords. And I've also situations a robust firewall can block it. So once we have an application password, we're going to copy this API key, and we're just going to put that in here. The next thing is how do we want to default publish everything? So we're going to default publish this as publish, but you have the option of a draft, pending, or private. My suggestion is as a publish. The reason why is that these are going to be inner hidden pages, not in the menu. The client can't find them. We're really just doing this content for Google, right? So what's the point of getting it approved, getting it in front of a client if the client is never going to see it? However, though, if the client insists on doing that, you can change this to draft, and it will publish it. The problem is, or it will make it as a draft. The problem is it won't publish them in a published silo with the pillar as the main page, the parent page, and then the cluster pages as child pages. So my suggestion is publish here. And after it's published, you can send a Word doc to the client that will be sent to you after generation. And you can get the client to approve it and then make any changes they make from there. Because again, this is not showing up in the menu unless the client or you add it to the menu. All right, so we're going to hit submit. Now, after we have a connection there, now we're going to test the connection. Super important that we do that. So we're going to click on view. We're going to go down to test connections. Then we're going to put just test or anything you want in here and hit send it. And then this will take about 1 to 2 minutes. And this will hit say working. And we do need to refresh this page. But after it's done, it will say success. Okay, so I just refreshed the page and now it says success. So now that's saying that, hey, our connection is working. Okay, so now we can go back to view project details. And at this point, we can just start publishing content, right? So we're just going to go down to pillar and cluster pages. This is where we generate content. We're going to generate new pillar cluster pages. All right, so we're going to select our connection here, the clients here. And this is where we're going to put in the location that we are targeting. This is where the client is right now, or where the content, where you want the client to be ranking in Google. So in this case, I'm going to put Houston, Texas, because the client wants to show up in Houston, Texas for a silo that I'm going to be creating. I'm going to hit make an audit, no, send to additional emails. If you do have an audit, then it will add an audit as part of the process. So I do suggest doing an audit for the first time if you want that to get some more information here. But after you do this, you don't need to continue doing an audit. Send to additional Google emails. You want the output to go to. So I'm just going to put my agency email here. And next, type of landing page. So we can generate a pillar only, a cluster only, or a silo, which is both, right? So if you just want one page or you just want a cluster page, you can do that, but I'm going to do both. The next question is, how many pillar sections do you want to generate? So if we have it as a default 5-3, it's going to be a pillar page with 5 sections and 3 clusters, right? So I can go ahead and put my keyword here, DSCR Loan Houston. And this is our keyword here, but you can also give it additional information. It can there can be a explicit instructions. It can be a keyword. This can be a whole paragraph. This can be right about this, right about that. So this can be anything you want it to be. But I usually put keywords in here, or I give it specific instructions. I want to write about this or that, okay? And it will automatically find the keywords associated with what you put in there. And then cluster keywords. So what I'm going to do is just put similar keywords in here. DSCR loan process, DSCR loan, modification, options, DSCR loan, availability. Now, I'm putting in 3 cluster keywords in here. You do not have to do that. You can just leave this blank, and it will automatically find cluster keywords if you leave it blank. The next option here is project knowledge file. So this will only accept a PDF, and this needs to be a PDF that's less than about 5 or 7 pages. And you'll break it if you try to upload a text file. And we need to add a validator that doesn't allow that to happen. Don't you love software and all the processes of learning how to make it work? But if you leave this blank, it will automatically, if you do not add a project knowledge file, it will automatically create its own project knowledge on the fly. Or you can add a summary of project knowledge, essentially whatever branding style. Just do not try to upload something that's like 30 pages. I would say 3 to 5 pages works best. Okay, so I'm just double checking. I've selected the client name, the location. I am doing an audit. I'm sending a copy of the output to my email address. I'm doing a silo, which is the both option. I'm doing a pillar with 5 sections and 3 clusters, and I'm not doing a knowledge file. I do want to mention one last thing here. We will natively support up to 1010, a pillar page with 10 sections and a cluster page with 10 sections. Now, be aware that that's going to generate about 17,000 words. A pillar section with 10 sections is literally like 7,000 words, and then each cluster page is about 1,000 words long. So that's 17,000 words. That's a little too much, too fast. I really do believe, even though this is all unique, original content that will sound like the client, I believe that the conservative approach, which is a pillar section with a pillar page with 5 sections and a cluster page with 3 landing pages, is best. But I've done 7 and 4s, 7 pillars and 4 clusters, and I've also done 10 10s. I just wouldn't do it all the time. All right, so start generating. And at this point, this will take about 10 minutes, and it will start creating content on the site. Once it's done, it will show up, the results of the content will show up in here. So you can click on view, and all the output will show up in here. And you can just click on view and see the content there. It will also show up in your Google, in a Google Doc, right, as well. All right, so that is how to do it. The main thing I've found in the past, when we have issues when things aren't working, it's when people are creating like a WordPress connection that doesn't have the slash at the end, right? Or they try to use the WordPress password instead of an application password. All right, so let me know if you have any questions. And Jeremy with Push Leads and Credible Roots. Talk to you soon.